Okay, so on this question, we are studying about the results of a training and the year in school. So you can read all the intro verbiage, but I'll just come right to this chart and just point out that this is really about, we're looking at the results of whether students had training or did not have training. So they attended, so all these people attended the training. And all these people did not attend the training. And basically, the higher the score, like 78 is higher than 41, that's the more likely the student is to go on to the university. They're trying to encourage students to go to the university. Now, some of them are only their 7th year in school. That'd be like, I don't know, starting at kindergarten. I think that'd be 6th graders. And this is 10th year in school. It's probably freshmen in high school. And so basically, notice we have two factors, two things that affect how likely how well students do on this exam, or in other words, how likely they are to persist and go on to the university. So we're wondering, what makes a bigger difference? Should they go to the training? It looks like it, huh? It looks like those numbers are higher than the numbers of the people that did not go to training. But so that'll be the first thing we're going to test. Does the training affect students, make them more likely to go on, to teach them about what university's like, maybe teach them things like how different your income comes out if you get a college degree versus not get a college degree, how much job satisfaction you have if you have a college degree versus no college degree. I don't know what's in that training, but I'm assuming trying to wake them up to some of the realities of getting a university degree versus not getting a university degree. But then there's also when we give it, right? The other factor, or maybe the factor A, is the school year. Like, should we give it to them early? Like when they're still a 6th grader, year 7, I think they're 6th grader, or should we wait till they're in high school, freshmen in high school, and so basically this is going to be a two-way ANOVA test. ANOVA stands for analysis of variance, and this is two-way. Why is it two-way? Because there are two factors. One of the factors is treatment, meaning they took the training or they didn't, and the other one is school year. So we're going to try to figure out, should we give them the training? Should we give them the training at all? And if so, does that have an effect? And the calculator, we're going to learn that. And then our calculations are going to tell us that. And then we're going to say, okay, yeah, but does the year in which we give the training matter? Or thirdly, is it a combination called interaction between the two? So how do we do this? Well, basically, we're going to use some software, which I'm going to show you right now. So we're going to go out to Google Sheets. You could go there, or Excel. If you have access to Microsoft Excel, that's excellent as well. I don't think Excel has 2 L's. Either one will work beautifully. I'm going to use Google Sheets because that's free for everybody. I know everybody has access to that. But Fresno City College students have access to Excel as well. And that's actually a little nicer, a little quicker. So if you want to use Excel, that'll work great. Also, I'm going to do Google Sheets because I know that's free for everybody. So what am I going to do with Google Sheets? Well, let me show you that right now. So what I'm going to do first off is go to my screen right here. Okay, so you can see my screen. So I'm going to come right up here and I'm going to show you. So you're seeing my screen. Okay, so I'm just going to type in, literally just go. Yeah, there it is, Google Sheets. Just type in Google Sheets to your browser. I'm in my use whatever browser you got. Just on Google Chrome. So go to Google Sheets. So I'm going to click this. You're going to have Google Sheets sign in, whatever you want. You go to something like that. So I'm going to click this. Now I'm already signed in, but just sign. Everybody had Google passwords are free, right? Your Google accounts are free. Everybody can get one. You probably already all have one. I'm going to go to Sheets. I'm going to click Go to Sheets. So do that on your computer. Go to Sheets. And then I'm going to choose a blank sheet. And there it is. This is a spreadsheet, they call it. Excel, people use this all the time. This is heavily used. This is a spreadsheet. These things are awesome. And so, okay, so what are we going to do with this spreadsheet? Well, basically, I'm going to type in that data that you saw. Now, the best way to do it is just to copy and paste. Let me go back. Here's the problem on the screen, as you can see here. I'm going to grab it and I'm going to highlight it right here. Y'all see what I'm doing? I just highlighted it with your mouse. I'm going to go Control C. Control C is copy. I'm going to go back to the Google Sheet. I'm going to go, kind of go over and down a little ways, like maybe, I don't know, maybe C3. Good enough. Go to C3, and I'm going to hit Control V, which is paste. So I just hit Control C to copy. So I went back over here. Back over here. Control Z. I'm going to do the next group. So I'm going to highlight this group. I'm going to go Control C. I hold down the Control, hit the C. That copies a group. And I'm going to come on and put it right here, right next to it. And I'm going to go Control V, and that paste it. Now, you can come up here and just go paste, copy and paste is right there as well. If you don't want to memorize those keyboard shortcuts. I'm going to come down to the next one, right? Go down here. I'm going to copy this group. I'm just going to put all this data in here. Control C, again, copy. Come back over here. See where I put it right there. The data is going to be right below. Paste. There it is. And I go right here now. Last group. Highlight these. Control C. Come back over here. See where I'm putting that? Don't go off somewhere. Like if you accidentally like go over here and go, whoops, you know what you can hit if you make any mistake using any Microsoft product? What do you hit? Easy. Control Z backs up. Control Z just takes it away. Whatever, it just reverses time. Be nice if we had that in life a little bit more, huh? Say the wrong thing. Whoops, just back that up. All right, anyway, so Control V, I'll paste it right there. So I got all the data in there. Now, you do need to put the titles above it. So let's go back and grab the titles. So what is it? So it's no training. I'll go back and put that up here. No training, so I just put it right there. And I just copy this right here. Attended training, Control copy, Control C, Control V, attend training. Okay, now, what about over here? School year. Now, year 7, Control copy. Come over here. Year 7, I'll just put that right at the top. Year 7, that's where year 7 begins. And then back over here, year 10. Now, where does year 10 start? Notice my year 10, the first one is 63.8. See it up there? 63.8. We'll come over here, 63.8 right there. Boom. See how it starts right at 60.8? That's the second half of the list. These are the year 7 people, year 10 people. And then right above here, I'm going to put the title. This is actually doesn't matter. This is just decoration. The computer won't use it at all, but I like it. Control copy, put it up here. Factor treatment, then I'll put over here kind of in the middle. Factor A, school year. Whoops, got too much there. I like that. Control C for copy. Control V, paste. So there we go. Everybody seeing what I got? So I just pasted this into the spreadsheet. Okay, now what are we going to do? Basically, here's all you got to do. First off, you've got to get what's called an add-on. Right now, the way Google Sheets works, you need a special tool, an extra special tool called Excel Miner. How do you get it? Go into extensions. Here's mine. I've already downloaded it. But if you haven't, click on add-ons and go over to get add-ons. You've seen what I'm doing right there? Let me pause for a second. So before you can do this, you have to get an extra add-on downloaded. It doesn't come on the normal Google. So we're doing high-level fancy stat stuff here. It's not on the normal Google Sheets. So go to again, I'm up at extensions. Go to add-ons. Go over to get add-ons, click on that, and it'll come up with a bunch of options. And what you want to go up here and search for, just search apps, you want there it is, Excel Miner Analysis Tool Pack. That's what you want. Excel Miner. Everybody seeing that? Excel Miner Analysis Tool Pack. Click on that, and it'll download it for free. This is all Google, which is free, and it'll put it on your Google Sheets, and then you can use it. So get the Excel Miner. Okay, so I've already got it, so I'm just going to go back here. So once you've got it, here's what you do. Then it'll be downloaded. It'll be under extensions. You click on extensions. Come on down to the Excel Miner Analysis Toolpack, which will be, added to your. It'll be added there in the bottom. Go over and click Start. And then it opens up over here a whole bunch of fancy stuff. Everything our calculator does, basically, it can do, which is even nicer. So then once it's there, I'm going to click on ANOVA two-factor with replication. Remember, we're doing an ANOVA two-factor or two-way. Now, why with replication? What that means is we have more than one thing repeated, replicated, repeated in each box. What do I mean? We'll look back over here. Not there. Here, look here. See how in this box, I have way more than just one thing? If you just have one item in each box, then you don't have replication. We're always going to have replication. We have whatever that is, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things in each of these 4 boxes, don't we? 7 in that box, 7 in that box. Whoops, too far. 7 in this box, and 7 in that box. So that's replication. Every box has repeating stuff in it. Replication. So I want to choose ANOVA two-factor with replication. Two-factor, right? Because if you go back here, we have factor A, school year, factor B, treatment, whether they got the training or the no training. So I'm going to go ANOVA two-factor with replication. Click on that. Input range. Well, here's what you want to do. You want to come over here. Now, this is the nice part. You want to highlight and paste. Where do you highlight? Start right there and then just drag it down to right there. Release that. Now, notice I did not highlight factor A or factor B. Does everybody see that? Factor A and factor B are just decoration for us. The spreadsheet, Google Sheets doesn't want it, won't do anything with it. But it does want the year 7, year 10 title, and it does want the no training, attend training. That is part of it. So notice where I clicked, right? I went in the upper left corner, right above the year 7, and I drug my mouse all the way down to the lower right. And then I come over here, and I just click on input range. Bonk. And it automatically goes, you mean you want B2 all the way to D16? That's right. See how this cell right here is B2? This is B2 all the way down to D16. It did it beautifully. You can just type it in manual if you want, but it's way easier to click and drag. And everybody see that? So one more time. What if that wasn't there? I was over here fooling around. Well, you just go up here, drag it down, release, and then come over here and just click in the box and bonk, puts it in there. Now, rows per sample. How many repeats did we have in each box? Do you remember? It was more than 6 and less than 8. It was 7, right? Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 numbers in every box. And so that's what they want right here. Rows per sample, 7. For each group, we had 7 in each box, didn't we? Now, alpha, there's your alpha level. That's usually 0.05. It already has 0.05 for. Is that what our alpha level? Yeah, our alpha level up here is, see it right at the top. It is 0.05. So we'll keep it at 0.05. Output range. Now, where do you want your output to go? You can put it, it's gonna basically spit all the answers onto this same, it's gonna do the calculation and spit out the answers for you right onto your spreadsheet. Where do you want it to go? Well, you can put it down below if you want. Put it up. Watch out. Here's a mistake a lot of people make. They come over here and they click on this right here, and it puts in the B2 it puts in the same thing we had before. We don't want to do that, because that means it's going to put all the output right over the top of what we originally put in there. You don't want that. Get rid of that. Just pick somewhere else that you want to put. Like, I'm going to come up here. I'm just going to go over one spot. I'll say, hey, start putting the answers right there, please. And I'll highlight that, and I'll come over here and I'll click. He goes, oh, okay, you want me to put the output starting at F2? Yeah, that's where I want it. Start spitting out answers right there at F2. And it'll print them down and to the right. All right, here we go. I'm going to click OK. Ready, go. And there it is. It just did it. It did the analysis on all that data. It's coming on down. It's going, all right, here's my, now we're not going to talk too much about all this summary stuff. If you take a higher level stats class for psychology or sociology, you'll get more into all that stuff. That's not my job. My job is to give you just the tip of the iceberg, give you a quick introduction to two-way ANOVA so that you've got a foundation if you're going to go to higher level stuff in your degree later. So I'm going to skip all this stuff without going into the detail, but the stuff that we care about is way down at the bottom. So if you go all the way down on the bottom, all that I'm going to look at is these 6 numbers right here. I don't actually care about anything else it's saying in all the world. All the rest of that stuff, I don't care at all. I'm just going to care about those 6 numbers. Notice it gives me 3 F values and 3 p-values. What are those? Those are telling me if factor A had an effect, if factor B had an effect, and thirdly, look over here, so sample columns, and the third one is interaction. Was there some kind of effect between them mixed together? Like is it best to do the older students with the class, or maybe the younger with the class, or some kind of interaction effect? It's basically telling us what makes a difference. What makes a difference in those students' test scores showing their readiness for university? Is it whether they took the class or not? That's the first. In fact, you can answer it right now. Look at the p-values. You guys know how p-values go, right? If the p is low, it's having an effect, right? So look at that first one. That first one is, and what is factor A? What's my first factor? We'll come back over here. What's my first factor? School year. So does it matter whether we have the young kids or the older kids take it? Does that seem to make a difference on whether the class, whether the students are, likely to go on to university, do well in the test to go on to university or not? Well, let's see. What does it say? For the first one, the first p-value, which is called sample, is 0.1313. No, that's pretty high. That's not under 0.05, right? Remember, our alpha level is 0.05. That's a high p-value. So no, that's not having any effect. What year you give them the class doesn't seem to matter. What about the second p-value? Oh, yeah, that's a low one, isn't it? 0.001, that's super low. What's the second factor? Factor B, treatment, whether they had the class or not. Yeah, whether they had the class or not seems to be having a huge effect on whether they do well in the test and plan to go to university. Okay, and then the third one is the interaction. Is there some kind of like interaction effect? In my case, no. 0.35, that's not a low p-value. So no, it doesn't seem like it matters whether they take the class and they're older or take the class and they're younger. It just seems like it matters they take the class whenever you want. To see what we've been able to do. I'm going to go back and answer all the questions that way. Do you see that? See how this has led me to all those answers? Just those 3 p-values. That's all I need. Because remember, if a p is low, that thing matters. That thing's having an effect. If p-values are lower than 0.05, it matters. If they're not, it's not. And they go right in order. The first one is A, the second one is B, the third one is interaction, and it says it right over here. Well, it says interaction. It doesn't really, sample and columns can be confusing, but yeah, just know it's A, B, and interaction. It's always A, B, interaction. Columns, you can tell that is B. See the columns right here? This column and that column, that's B, that is B. Sample is over here. This is sample, like this sample, year 7 or year 10. Anyway, so what do we conclude? So first off, they want the F values. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to highlight this F value, I think. Yeah, so right here, I'm going to click on something. I'm going to do some amazing clicking, hopefully. I don't know. I'm going to right-click and copy. Yeah, so I just right-clicked on that cell. I'm going to copy my answer. I just everybody see what I did? I right-clicked on that F value. And then, here, I can do it again. So you just highlight that cell. Oh, actually, let's go back to the question. I'm sorry. What's the question? Here's the questions that we need to answer. First off, what is the F value for the treatment effect? Now, which one's treatment? Look up here. It's B. So they're kind of tricking us. Everybody see that? I didn't write this question. It really is a they. It's not me, I promise. And some professor somewhere in the world wrote this question, but here she's being a little tricky. Do you see how they're starting us off with B, not A? How do I know that? It says treatment right here, and treatment is B. So they're asking me the F value for B. So let's go back to my spreadsheet. F value for B is going to be that second one. Remember, it's A first, then B. So that's the one they want, huh? Everybody see that? So I'll highlight that. F value for the B, for the second one. Right-click on it. Copy. Come back over here. And Control-V. Paste. Let's see. I'm on the teacher version, so it'll show me if that answer is right away. 21.49. Beautiful. See that? It's right. Now, then it says, da-da-da-da. What's the p-value for the treatment? Well, again, treatment is B, as it says up here. Treatment is B. So they're saying, what's the p-value for treatment? What's the p-value for B? Well, that's the second p-value. That's right there, huh? Second p-value. Right-click. Copy. Come back over. Paste. Control-V. Control-V is paste. And there it is. Let's see if it's right. Yep, beautiful. Exactly right, isn't it? Okay, now, so does this support, here's the question now, does this support the researcher's hypothesis that the treatment has an effect on whether students persist? Does treatment have an effect? Yeah, the p-value was low, huh? Remember, if the p-value is low, if it's lower than 0.5, then that thing's having an effect. So yeah, the treatment, whether they took the class or not, has an effect. So that's our answer on that. Now, I want to be clear on the exam, you're not going to be able to use your computer because you could go out to ChatGPT and everywhere else and get all the answers. So what I'll do on the exam is I'll just give you this output right here. So what you're seeing right here, I'll just give you this output and say, here's what came out from an Excel program. And you're just going to click on what you're going to put in the F value, the correct P value, and draw the conclusion about what it means. That's all you're going to have to do on the exam. I'll give you the output. I'll give you this box right here. This box right here. I'll give you that on the exam. I'll say, here's what came out. What does it mean? So your job will be to understand what it means. So really, you just know. It just means anytime the p-value is low, that thing matters. That's really it. I mean, and this is A first, then B, then the interaction. First p-value, second p-value, third p-value. Any p-value lower than 0.5, that thing matters. If it's higher than 0.5, that thing doesn't matter. Doesn't have an effect. It's as simple as that. So I go back here and say, okay, let's try. So we got those three. How about for question 2? What's the F value for school year effect? And what was school year? School year is factor A. Huh? So they're saying, what is the F value for school year? What is the F value for A? So I go back here. Oh, okay, you want A F value? That's the first F value, huh? That's A. Right click, copy, go back over, put it in there, Control V for paste. Is that right? Yep, beautiful. Same number. Okay, what's the p-value for school year? Well, that's the p-value for A, because again, up here, school year is A. Oh. So they're asking, what's the p-value for school year? What's p-value for A? So I come back, oh, p-value for A right here. It's this top p-value. It goes over, right? A, B, and then the third one. This is A. Right click, copy, go back over, put it in there, Control V. For paste there, is that right? Yep, beautiful. Okay, so does this support the researcher's assumption that school year does not affect? That's what the researcher thought. The researcher thought school year would not affect. Is the researcher right? Yeah, because this is yes, indeed. Because the p-value is high. 13's high. That's not a low p-value, so that doesn't affect. So school year does not affect. The researcher was right. Remember, if the p-value is low, if it's under 0.5, then that thing has an effect. And that was the treatment. That was the class. Whether they took the class or not had an effect on whether they persist. But the school year, whether they took it early or late, doesn't seem to matter. The researcher's right. It does not. Notice how they said does not have an effect. Researchers are why? Because the p-value right here, see the p-value? That is higher than 0.5. So it does not have an effect. This making sense? Questions so far? Third one. F value for interaction. Now, is there some kind of interaction between, maybe you got to be an older student and take the class or something like that. Or maybe you should give it to the younger students. How about interaction? Here's interaction. Interaction is the third column, interaction. They want the F value, first off, for interaction. So right click, copy the F value for interaction, paste it in here, Control V. Is that right? Exactly. Now they want the P value for interaction. Let's go over here, get the P value. So this is interaction, P value. Right click, copy, bring it over, put it in there, Control V. Is that right? Beautifully right. Now, does this support the researcher's hypothesis that the treatment effect is moderated by school year? In other words, the researcher thought that the class would be, what does it mean moderated? To moderate something means to change it or to affect it, right? If you modify your car or modify something, some electronic equipment, you change it, right? So the researcher thought that the class would be moderated, affected by how old they were. There would be some kind of interaction effect, that maybe the class would be better for younger people or for older people. He or she thought that there would be an interaction effect. Was there? Was the person right? No, there was no. Look at that p-value. That p-value is high. It's not under 0.5. So no, interaction had no effect. There was no interaction, at least in mine. Yours might be different. There was no interaction from my data. Looks like it doesn't matter when they take the class, early, late, whatever, just take that class, that has an effect. Finally, based on these findings, which group can you say had the higher average on the test. So who had the highest average on the test? Let's go back to the results. Or we can just go right. Well, it's hard to see right there. Let's just roll back up here. Who had the highest average? Well, it looks like all these people did, right? Oh, just the right side. Everybody on the right side did, huh? Everybody who went to training, whether they're year 7 or year 10. The group attending training, huh? The group attending the training. Well, it wasn't just the year 7 people or the year 10 people. Now, if there was an interaction effect, so you might get an interaction. You might get some kind of result that says, not only does the training matter, but they got to be older. So they can really think about university. Maybe they got to be in high school, so they're starting to think about university. Maybe if that was the case, then you would say, oh, okay, so then it's just the year 10. It's just the year 10 treatment group. Treatment means the people that got the treatment. What was the treatment? Training. The training. We're calling that treatment. Anyway, but in my case, there was no interaction. So it didn't matter what year they were. It only mattered that they went to training. That's all that mattered on that one. Questions I can answer on that? No questions? All right, we will stop with that.